Earlier this month, we had the opportunity to attend Wonderland in Miami. Wonderland's the world's largest business conference on psychedelics, and it was a great chance for a lot of emerging companies and investors to understand the space overall across a variety of diseases and platforms. However, outside the walls, there was a lot of interest in Compass Pathways, which to date has presented data on the largest clinical trial for psilocybin in any indication. This trial was a phase 2b trial, and the data, while overall positive, did have some concerns. From a positive perspective, 37% of patients did respond to therapy in 3 weeks, and about 30% of patients were in remission at that week 3 time point. However, some of the concerns were there about the magnitude of the data, as well as the durability. Over 12 weeks, only about a quarter of patients did end up being a sustained responder. There were also some concerns about some treatment-related adverse events, specifically around suicidal ideation and suicidal thoughts. Not surprisingly, given this population, there were increased amounts of suicidal ideation and thoughts, but the surprise was perhaps that this did occur in the highest dose that was studied in the trial itself. So while the data was positive overall and does show a clear proof of concept, there are two key learnings for companies moving forward. The first is, this trial was a one-time dose only. While a one-time dose may be ideal in nature, given the complexity of giving this treatment itself, it may not be what's needed from a clinical perspective. Companies should consider flexible dosing regimens and really alter the dose to the patient themselves rather than having the patients fit the clinical trial protocol. The second point, which is perhaps more critical, is that Compass in this trial stopped patients from being on any backbone therapy. These patients are often on 4, 5, 6+ lines of therapy, and that stopping those treatments overall may have been too high of a hurdle. Moving forward, we think companies should do what MAPS did, in which even though they went in the first line for PTSD, they allowed patients to remain on backbone therapy. It's really critical for these patients to have that sustained bottom line response to really show the augmentation of the psychedelic itself. So overall, we're still quite bullish, not just on Compass, but as the overall field of psychedelics. Though the data was perhaps not as robust as the whole community would wanted, it did show a clear proof of concept. As mentioned, we do need to be flexible. A one-time dose may not be the panacea for all, and really should be considering flexible dosing regimens for patients moving forward. The second is that Compass may have to conduct another clinical trial to really optimize the dose. However, given that there's such a high acute unmet need for treatment-resistant depression, we think the FDA may give the company latitude and be flexible in allowing the company to move this into phase 3 and ultimately onto the market. If approved, the approval would be a major inflection point for the psychedelic market moving forward.